morning. My name is George Morrill. It is 9:03 a.m. and I'm going to call the special called meeting of the Beeville County Commissioners Court to order. Today is Monday, May 23rd, 2022. We are physically located at the Beeville County Courthouse, Commissioners Court Room number 110, 105 West Corpus Christi Street, Beeville, Texas 78102. That was the call to order. Would everybody please stand and join Pastor Don at the brief prayer?
Heavenly Father, we invite your presence today in these chambers as the county judge and commissioners court meets. We ask, Lord, for your blessings upon this day. We ask, Lord, that you might send us more rain as the county still needs it. And we ask that you might be with all those people of Beeville County who invite your presence into their lives. In your Son's name we pray.
Amen. As always, thank you. Join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And now the Texas Pledge. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. Thank you all. Welcome. We're at agenda item number 4, where we recognize visitors. This isn't public comment. This is just I'll do that in just a second. Thank you for reminding me. I'll do that before we get to agenda item number 5. Are there any visitors? Again, this isn't public comment. This is just if anybody would like to identify themselves for the record. This is the time when we would entertain that. There's no pressure. Yes, sir.
You know about
Mr. Olivares, thank you for being here again, sir. Anybody else? Hearing none, we'll move on. Welcome to everybody. Again, there's no obligation. We're glad you're here. Please come back. At this moment in time, I'm going to ask that we all take a moment of silence for local Beeville County resident and father of Ronnie Jones, who passed away earlier this morning. So if everybody would please take a quiet moment of reflection and put Mr. Jones and Ronnie and all their family in your thoughts and prayers right now. Thank you, and our sincere condolences to the Jones family. Moving on, agenda item number 5, Commissioner's Court opening remarks. I'm thinking it's Commissioner Haggard, but maybe I'm wrong.
I'll go for it.
Is it your turn? Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know, is it?
I really don't know.
I can't remember. Can we go back to the minutes?
Okay, we'll go back. We'll just switch. Commissioner Lenny.
Thank you. Are you sure?
It depends.
All right.
See how it goes.
All right. Had a few things going on this last couple of weeks. Had a lot of calls for different roads that need to be looked at, and I got with Ray on that, and he's done that. Had some calls for some speed limit signs to be put up on some county roads. What else? It was kind of quiet as far as picking up trash and doing that type of thing. So I noticed that, and I actually had a resident in Woodbury Hill tell me that she's noticed, since I put those no littering signs up, she thought, man, no one's going to pay attention. But she said, actually, Lehman and Yar said they're actually staying a lot cleaner than they used to be. Not that there's still not trash and whatnot, but it's a lot less. So I've got some more of those need to put up. I've got a call on Central Lane. They want some no dumping or littering signs up there. And on Vigo, need to put some Crime Stopper signs up. I was intending to do that this weekend, but we had the, mental health awareness deal up here Saturday. It was a long day. It was a long day. I got up here at 6 in the morning and, was here till, I guess about 4 o'clock. I finally said, I'm done. And I want to say it lasted till 6, but it was a really cool event. I want to thank all the artists that came out and did their talking. Some of them were really, really good. And, the vendors and the food trucks, and then we had, I don't know what the man's name was that came and he sang. He was from American Idol. And after him was, Clarissa Sarna from the Coastal Living show, but she was also on, The Voice, I believe. And so she came and she sang for a good while, and it was a good turnout. It was hot, but it was a good turnout. So, and also for the group at Serenity, that was them and Main Street, Beeville Main Street putting that on. So it was a really good turnout, really good turnout. Other than that, that's about it.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Pass on to the left.
I don't have as much as I did last time, Judge. So I do have a little.
Take all the time you need.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. The first thing I want to say, right now, we're all receiving our tax notices. I got mine. You'll be getting yours if you own property. What I want to tell everybody, the state of Texas has told our appraisal office they have to do certain things. We shouldn't get upset when we get those tax notices. And we really shouldn't get upset with the personnel. Remember, when you talk to them on the phone or you go down there, they're just trying to do their job. So that's what I want to leave y'all with on those tax notices. I don't like them any more than you do, but it's part of the process. And these folks down in that office are just doing their job. So don't get mad at them. I had a couple of calls from the precinct over the weekend about their tax notices. They were raising Cain. I said, go ahead and stomp your feet, write it down on paper, throw it in the trash, get all mad until you go before those people or you talk to them. They're just doing their job. So I think we've explained to people, just like we have to you, they're just doing their job. Just like when an officer stops you on the highway, speeding or whatever, they're just doing their job. So remember that. Everybody's angry about everything right now. We don't like the gas prices. We don't like the price in the grocery store. But when you're working with these folks, especially, we all live here together. They're just doing their job. So remember that when you're dealing with that. I had the opportunity and the pleasure of having an 8th grade class, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade class from Pawnee last week to tour the courthouse. They met in my office, and I brought this from my office this morning as a visual aid. I was telling them about the courthouse, and they all kept focusing on, what is that? What is that? Is that something out of a dungeon? What is that? I said, no, it's not. I said, let me take y'all back in history to the 1920s during the Depression in Pettis, Texas. There was a railroad went through Pettis. There was a water tower there. During the 20s, nobody had any money, and they found oil in the Pettis area. The Pettis area, right around Pettis, according to my father, who was born in 1909, there were 20 and 30,000 people living in Pettis. They were on hills, they were in tents, they were everywhere else. There were buildings downtown in Pettis. They were torn down about 5 years ago. When I was a young boy, I used to go to those buildings, buy my BBs for the ranch or whatever, and this was in the building. And I couldn't understand what it was. And my daddy said, well, remember, they don't have air conditioning. They didn't have air conditioning in the 20s and 30s. And they put these in the windowsills in the building to keep the hobos from sitting in the windows. Okay, now where I'm going with this story, I told the children from Pawnee, I said, when I was a little boy, my daddy told me that, and I just had to go sit on it because I wanted to know what it felt like. Well, it's uncomfortable. I turned around and looked, and every single one of those students had to sit on this. They put it on the stool, and each one was sitting on this, let's call it a visual aid here this morning. So if you see these, that's what they are. And I think our county clerk said her mother had said she had some, and she didn't know what they were. That's what it is. They were in the windowsills to stop the hobos from sitting in the windows. Anyway, we toured the courthouse. We went to different offices. They were very, very impressed. We had handshake class. We had different things that we did. It was fantastic. They were very interested in county government. They all sat here. They wanted to know why this chair was taller than the others. We said, that's the county judge. And there was a young man sitting here. So he became the county judge for the rest of the tour. So, and he kind of led the tour and everything. So, Judge, you have a competitor now.
Excellent. I'm glad to hear that.
So with that, I will pass to my colleague to the left.
All right, it's been a busy couple of weeks here. Update on the Blanconia Fire Department. The RFQ has been approved by CEDM, and they're making some adjustments because they didn't have a concrete floor inside it. It just had a footer all the way around it. So they're getting that added into the to the bid process. Thanks, Road and Bridge, patching up and fixing up County Road 409. Thank you, sir. Got a lot of calls, a lot of compliments on that one there. And then had a meeting with Mercer for the tax office, for the IT upgrade a little bit. So we had the construction guys, and they're gonna get back with us. They had some people who knew what they were doing to see where the load-bearing walls were and stuff like that. So we had a good meeting there. And then I had a 2-day meeting with the South Texas judges and commissioners to approve the final agenda for the conference that's upcoming in June. So that kept me busy. And 402, had a grass call, and I believe I put it on Ray's desk, and they're gonna get to it here by the end of the week. That's me right there. That's to you, Commissioner Haggard.
Thank you. Well, first of all, I had a meeting, I wanna thank our Madam Auditor. I went in with, several ideas wanting to help out. Of course, she was very instrumental in helping me work through those issues. So we'll be seeing those at budget, so they're very good. She was very informative.
So it's a good meeting.
It was a real good meeting.
You didn't get told
I
no
didn't
too
get
many times.
I didn't get thrown out.
That's all.
Yeah, I didn't get thrown out.
Yeah.
Sheriff's Department didn't have to come down, unlike when I went to the tax office. The appraisal district, no, I haven't gone there yet. Honestly, I agree, Commissioner DeWitt, they're just doing their job.
That's it.
Just remember one thing, when you leave there, both of them are happy. They get their money, you get the vent. So pretty much that's how it works there. But anyway, after the meeting, I did attend a BAP meeting this last week. Very, very good. A lot of ideas around the table. What was a comment was made was the reason for BAP was the collection of business owners, more so than city and county that are in there. More of theirs, there were ideas flowing from both directions. I mean, everything was like, well, I know this, well, what about this, what about that? We're always looking for new members, more of the private companies to come in. One of the things, I don't know if you know this or not, but Boss Crane is moving. They're moving to Kennedy. The reason they're moving is a bigger yard. They need a much bigger yard. They can't put all the cranes and equipment in there. So that's one of those. But then now that leaves us a site for somebody moving in. Again, Randy's been doing an excellent job latching onto everything he can and everything else. So, but it was a very, very good meeting. I can't elaborate on a whole lot of stuff. The BDA has been instrumental also in a lot of things. So, also, I want to thank Ryan Garza, Mike Willow, and I'm not going to mess up her last name, but Mary, who works for the Council of Governments in Corpus Christi, and the GLO. I have good news. Out of the $179 million that I had reported we possibly had coming to the state, we are going to be the receivership of, let's say, a couple of mil at least. I don't know the final numbers for drainage. Drainage projects throughout the county. I met with Ray. Ray and I are going to sit down. We're going to work out a huge plan. It's not finalized yet, but it is a couple of million plus. So looks really good. So we'll see where we go from there. Also, no match. It's straight, write your check, ready to go. And that's even better. I was really excited when I heard that. So, but I want to thank all of them being on the phone, with the times that we spent on some Zoom meetings and some back and forth conversations. They're very instrumental in helping us get a lot of projects on the ground. The City of Beeville is also going to get some money for their drainage problems. So that's another one. Had a lot of, calls on roads. Ray has been all over the roads, as, y'all all reported. He's, cut the grass, he's patched the roads, he's done all of that. While we're on roads, had a meeting with, Garrett Construction and, the wind farms, Blackjack Creek Wind Farms. We have finally, Ray and I have decided that, the final on this road, is they're going to put coal mix down. The road has not been in real good shape when they fixed it. It's not where they said it would be. They had several excuses, none of them worked for us. We threw right back at them. Whatever they threw to the wall, it didn't stick, fell on the ground. They're gonna put coal mix, the whole 1.8 miles. They're gonna play a layer of coal mix all the way down. I think they're waiting on the same thing Ray is waiting on, is coal mix. It's tough to find. Several companies have their own plants, so they're able to get what they want. They're gonna lay that down, then they're gonna put that final course of rock. It's gonna be a number 4?
Right, 5 rock.
5, grade 5. There's a brand new loads of grade 5 down there on the ground, so they're gonna put it on. It needs to dry, which it's drying with the sun. The other is, I have to meet with TxDOT again. I'm gonna get Vicente out there. We're gonna go back out to Tynan. Since the recent little rain we got, it's now flooded in front of the co-op and the post office again. That project has been waiting for several things through TxDOT, one being signing of a PO. And so I'll see what I can do to expedite that, to get the water off of there. It never runs, it just dries up, so you know how long that's gonna take. But other than that, it's just been normal calls, back and forth, up and down the roads, looking at things. So, again, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners, each and every one of you for your insightful comments and your efforts over the course of the last couple of weeks. Commissioner DeWitt, special recognition. Thank you for hosting the Pawnee ISD students. I'm sure that they had a wonderful time, and I'd like to make sure that all our other ISDs in the county know that those types of opportunities to have tours of classes or groups of students is something that we would all encourage. And get with your commissioner, get with my office directly if you'd like to try to schedule that. I know the school year is over, so maybe you have plans for next year. But anyway, thank you for doing that.
Yes, sir.
To everybody
My pleasure.
else.
My pleasure.
Just a couple things. I just wanted to give a few teasers. I guess we could call this opening remarks in part, status of what's going on and a teaser of what is going to be coming down the pipe in the future. I did want to let everybody know we hadn't communicated about this in a public meeting. We certainly haven't communicated outside of a public meeting, but we haven't communicated about this in a public meeting over the course of the last couple of months. That came out improperly. Probably live to regret that. But anyway, I just wanted to let everybody know that with respect to the jail HVAC issue, bids are out. Mrs. Cantu's office has been working diligently. I think they've been out for a couple of weeks now. Is that right? For a couple of weeks, so we're hopeful we'll get some meaningful bids back and have a pathway forward. So I did want to let everybody know that is going well. It's budget season. This is more internal to county notification. It is budget season, so to all my fellow elected officials, and all our department heads, start sharpening your pencils. You should already have your packets. Mrs. Cantu's office is available to assist. My office is available to assist. Just because we don't have, if we don't have a meeting set specifically, that doesn't mean you can't just call, reach out, ask questions. Hopefully it'll be a good budget season. We don't seem to be facing necessarily some of the challenges that we faced in the last couple of years, but I'm sure other challenges will rise to fill that void. So, and then I was going to comment on the appraisal season as well, but you knocked that nail down into wood perfectly, so thank you for that. So we will move on. Moving on to agenda item number 6, public comment. Are there any members of the public wishing to address Commissioners Court this morning? No pressure. If you just want to stand up and talk, I'll give you 2 or 3 minutes. All right. Hearing none, we'll move on. Agenda item number 7, the following items are of an administrative nature. Commissioners Court has furnished documentation on each item, and all such items may be acted upon by one vote, without being discussed separately unless requested by a commissioner or county judge.
Move to approve.
Second with a comment.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Haggard, you have the floor.
Yes, on the travel request, not quite sure, if I remember correctly. I believe Commissioner Farias belongs to precinct 2, not 4.
Yeah, it was
Oh, we didn't
No.
tell you about that?
that was a typo.
He's
They
moved
put-
over?
We moved.
Oh,
No.
that's fine.
Just for expenses.
You just picked it, oh.
I thought they took it forward.
Hey, that's
Oh,
right.
Veronica.
Yeah, Veronica put that.
I need the help with the drainage, so you'll be, there you go.
There you go.
All right.
Thank you, sir.
I accept it.
Also, we have, G, change of status, number 6, Enrique Almeria. We need to delete that one. He never showed up. So that new employment's not in effect. That month. Is that correct, Mr. Gonzalez?
That's correct.
I have financials, April financials in the packet. If you want to turn to page 5, we can look at the revenues.
While we're turning there, I noticed in one of the reports, in the sheriff's report, there was a handwritten correction on revenue received, line 4. And I think that means that the total at the bottom, total credits, would almost double from 14,000 for this reporting period for the month of April to 26,000 some change. It's agenda page number 18, agenda packet page number 18. On yours, it's 7A, 1A. I don't think that's a page number. Yeah, it's not, sorry. That'll give us a chance to get to it.
What packet number page did you say?
18.
18.
Yeah, 69. 40 prisons?
Yeah. Really just more explanation, I think that's what it. that's
Yes,
why I-
well, that's on his handwriting, so,
I saw 18 now.
well, I mean, obviously it was included in the check, and it wasn't written here. It probably didn't balance, and on a notice that missing, because that's her writing.
Okay,
So, I mean, that's the best I can think of, is that it didn't match and it was caught.
yeah, I think it was just accidentally left out.
Left out,
and
and
then-
they just added it on.
But the
It could have
total,
been,
I was just asking if,
It doesn't-
should the
doesn't
total
balance.
be 26,000?
yes, and it would have
Which is
been
great.
adjusted, and that might have been a gray area when we received it, and maybe
Oh, as
we
far
had,
as timing.
that could have been too, that it was written in, but, I can certainly, make sure that.
I presumed, I just wanted to double check. Thank you. We're on page 69 of the packet, or 69?
On
The-
revenues.
The comparison? Yeah, there is.
Yes, so we're on, track on our revenues, 18.11%, still, to be collected. But being over in ad valorem is, of course, because we, brought in, road and bridge revenues. So that's a lot of that overage. That road and bridge is now going through the general fund, and we transfer it to the road and bridge fund. But delinquent taxes is up, that's that one, that I had brought to your attention a few months ago, that was delinquent, that was collected. Sales tax, 31.23% up, that's great. So usually inmate is behind, that might be for that shortage, they're behind in their collections as far as being paid from the marshal's office. Fines and forfeitures still are down, they've continued to be down, through the last 2 years, 3 years.
Hopefully that'll change.
Hopefully.
Overall, the numbers seem very promising.
Yeah.
Financial status of the county looks really good.
Looks very good.
Yes.
Very good.
Any questions?
Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, Ms. Kincaid. Moving on, discuss and consider action on the following items. Agenda item number 8, approve Beeville Independent School District request to revert gift deed back to the school district for the Tyler Elementary School property located at 815 North Tyler Street in Beeville, Texas. We have, in the agenda, and this one we can hold off on, vote. We do have, Ms. Delicate Castillo present in our audience today, I think is ready to make a presentation to us. And I would only, note before she starts that in your packet is included the original conveyance from, the ISD to the county, which kind of set up the structure for what the ISD, I believe, is requesting now.
Yes, sir. Good morning, Judge Morrill and Commissioners. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to come and present to you today. Back in January 18, 2005, the Board of Directors of Beeville ISD gifted a deed over for the Tyler property, that's 815 North Tyler Street, to the county to be able to, so you could utilize it for your BCAA Head Start program. I don't know when the Head Start program ended in B County, but I think it's been a few years now, and the property has been vacant. So what we are requesting from the Commissioners Court is to approve to revert the property back over to Beeville ISD to be able to use for educational purposes.
Judge, I'll make a motion to approve of the story if I could.
Well, I've got a motion.
Second.
I got a motion and a second.
I got a second with no story.
Okay, the
I think you have to have a story.
You have to have a story,
This
yes.
way.
You have to go on with the story.
Please proceed.
Anyway, and Commissioner Haggard can verify this. We thought we did this about 8 or 10 years ago when David Silver was the county judge.
Shortly after, yes.
We really did, because it came before the court. And at that time, the school said, we'd like for y'all to take the building. That's when BCAA was in the building. We said, no, we don't want the building. It's all yours. You have it back. And that's, we thought we already did something like that.
I thought we even gave them $1 check
I
back.
thought so, but
Yeah.
anyway,
I'm fine with this.
I'll revise my motion to just approve without the story.
I still got the same second with no story.
Have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? And just so the record is clear, our presenter is Delicate Castillo. And Ms. Castillo, what is your title?
The Chief Financial Officer.
CFO for the ISD. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Any further discussion? Okay, it's a beautiful building. I know BISD is going to take good care of it and keep it. I noticed in the original deed to the county, BISD made special mention of the historic nature of the building and the obligation of the county to maintain it because of its historic nature. And I truly hope that BISD, now that it will vest title, will continue to honor that indication as one of our older, more historic buildings and educational buildings in the city and the county. So thank you so much.
If we could, some of us sitting at this dais went to school in that building. And those of us that went to school in that building felt like it was the Alamo. The way it was built, the way the colonnades were made, and there was no air conditioning back then.
No.
And we pretended we were in the Alamo, sir.
How much fun.
You have these in the window too?
No, we weren't allowed to sit in the
The teachers carry
The
the.
teachers carry these, but it has a significance to some of us also because of the way it was built. If you get a chance, go by and look at it. It's beautiful architecture. Wood floors inside, it's beautiful. Anyway,
No, that's wonderful.
I'll be quiet now.
Thank All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Thank you.
I got some more.
Moving on, agenda item number 9, approve and accept Alexis Bledsoe's resignation from the Bee Development Authority Board. I've handed out, here's a resignation. We're very happy for Mrs. Bledsoe. She's a new city council, member. She was a county appointee to the Bee Development Authority. She is going to, serve as a city appointee, to the Bee Development Authority, but as a necessary precatory measure, she needed to officially resign, and so this is her resignation letter. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Thank you, Mrs. Bledsoe, for your service to the county and to the BDA, and best of luck to you in the future with your service to the city and to the BDA. There's no further discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 10, approve Texas Public Information Act information request form.
Move to approve the comment.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner
Oh,
Toya.
there was a slight typo. I gave it to, Mrs. Strada.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 11, review and possible action on Justice of the Peace Technology Fund.
That would be mine, Judge. The reason this is on the agenda, we want to talk about it. We have a Justice of the Peace here who has some questions. And Mr. Showalter, would you want to come to the podium and pose your questions to the court, sir, before I get too deep into the local government code?
Good morning.
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
I'm good.
Excellent.
I'll try to speak loud if you guys do. It's
No
hard to
problem.
hear in the back row if you're an old man. I'm not here to defend the Justice Fund. I'm here to find out how our county administers the Justice Technology Fund. We go through our training, we're told that there's a special fund. $4 out of every ticket goes into that fund for the Justice of the Peace Technology. The way I read the code is to be used for certain items. And those items include computer systems, computers, laptops, so forth and so on. If you should have a photograph.
Yes, we do.
On your desk. Probably a 1990 or maybe 2000 model VCR player. And I had court a couple of weeks ago, and DPS brings their little body cam information, and it will not play on that. So I requested a television or something so I can conduct court, and I was told it had to come out of my office supplies. Wait a minute, we've got a technology fund that's dedicated to that. That's why I'm here, is to find out how you administer the technology fund, and if it's not the way I feel it should be, then when we have budget hearings, that's when I need, how do I decide something's gonna break? And put it in my budget to have it fixed. So, anyway, if you have any questions for me. I say this, Commissioner DeWitt has heard this story 100 times, and so has the county judge. I am the only elected official in this county that does not have a desk. I sit at a counter in the kitchen with a bar stool that I brought from home. I have no computer, I have no monitor. That's why I requested a year or so ago a laptop, so that if I wanted to do computer work, I had to move one of my staff members out. They couldn't do their job, so I could sit and review documents. So that's why I'm concerned about the technology. And get me a desk. Thanks. Any questions?
I don't know, maybe. Mrs. Cantu?
Okay, so the tech fund, has, been used probably about 5 years. The prior judge, brought the tech fund to the Commissioner's Court, at the Commissioner's Court discretion, which is the local government code, and which is the special and dedicated little, write-up that I handed to you all, so that you know that it is directed by the Commissioner's Court. And so that's what's been done the past That's what I'm saying, about 5 years. And so we take a transfer about 13,000 annually to the general fund to help pay for, software, net data software, which is just a drop in the bucket. Their software is about
Which all
30,000.
4 JPs utilize.
Yes, it's for all 4 JPs. So what we did at that time is we put a little bit more money into the supply budget, and we asked JPs at the time, if you have requests, bring them to the court, annually for any type of equipment or supply that they might need additional to.
Can we get him a
budget.
new TV so he can play?
Well, I did bring his statement of expenses, and he has $1,200 in his supplies right now. Last year, there was about 5,000 left in his budget. And at times like that, when there's extra monies, it's always my recommendation to move them, use them when there's a necessity needed in the office. And this is this has never been brought up. A desk has never been brought up. Of course, he can get a desk, and he has money.
I
And
think
he's
we
had
have
money.
some stored also that can be transferred up to.
I think we,
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
I got an extra one, Judge, you can have it.
Definitely.
Judge Showalter knows there's lots of desks available.
Okay.
There's no location unless we're gonna suspend the desk over the secretary's desk
Oh, okay, I
for
can
the
help you
desk
out.
to fit. But look, can I ask you a couple questions, Mrs. Cantu?
Mhm.
On this, the JP's Technology Fund, this is statutory component that Judge Showalter lined out. Do we, those funds are remitted to the county, and so your office maintains those. Do we maintain them in separate accounts for each justice? And for the separate 4 justices, as per, so if Judge Showalter has 100 tickets, that's $400 in the month of April, it would go into his account. And so do we
It's
have
in the same fund, it's kept in the same fund, but Anna in my office, she keeps a spreadsheet that has the bucket.
it's broken out
Oh,
by?
yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And aside from the $13,000 a year that is, I'm not sure how that is apportioned amongst the 4 justices. I presume it would be equally, but
It's just out of the fund, and it's just a round number that we've kind of come up with that goes to the general fund, like I said, for software. It's just a drop in the bucket for what their software is, but it was just decided at that time that that's what we were going to use the funds in there for. Right now, it has a $6,600 cash balance in that fund.
but we don't know what portion of that $6,600 is.
I don't have,
attributable to Judge
I don't
Showalter. I know
have
not right
his,
now.
but
Do we have that?
I do have that number, yes.
Is it the concept, has it been the concept over the course of the last 5 years or so, or when this process was started, that if Judge Showalter had a need that his portion of the technology fund could support, would the process be that he would pitch to Commissioners Court to request to utilize a portion of those funds, and we would approve it? Is that required, or can he just say, I want to buy a new TV, how much money do I have in my technology fund, and he has enough money to cover it, and that money can be distributed to him? How does that work? What's the process there?
It's required Commissioner's Court approval,
Okay.
yes.
So if Judge Showalter wanted to have his portion of this technology fund pay for his TV, what would his first step be?
To come to court and ask you.
So
And
just
so if.
to get it on the agenda, not to talk to you first. Well, I guess
Oh,
we
no,
want to talk to you to
of course,
make sure that
of course,
there's
to know that
adequate funds.
we're in line, of course, yes. And, that I've explained, to him the process and as far as the funds this year, I mean, they've been allocated to the general fund. And, my suggestion, of course, is to use any funds that are available in his budget that can be utilized for this purchase. What I heard was that this purchase is $200, which,
250, I believe, somewhere around there. Less than 300.
which, I mean, he has 1,200 in his supply budget. There's almost 2,000. Let's see. We have about 1,000 in his travel. I mean, there's monies that can be utilized in here for that, and that would be my first suggestion, is, of course, just your recommendation.
I'm sorry, I'm just trying to work through it, Judge Walter, hang tight. So, but these funds, do they exceed 13,000 a year that are generated?
Yes, sir.
And subject to approval by Commissioner's Court, they're really for the use of each individual JP at their discretion, right? Subject to our approval.
I think if the court decides that, yes, subject to the court's approval. In other words, the way I have this couched today, we could make that decision today to allow him to buy said piece of equipment. There is a fund balance in the technology fund.
Yes.
Now, thank you. And that's kind of what I was getting at. Now, the next question, what burden does that place on the accounting side of the equation? Is that is that a budget amendment? Is that a line item transfer? What is entailed in?
The only item in that budget that is budgeted is the transfer. So there is no other budgeted line item in there. If the court wants to pay an item out of there, it would have to be a budget amendment because it's not budgeted. And so to me, that would be an emergency discretion, which.
Isn't it basically just a fund code, Madam Auditor, that the money's used out of?
To do a budget amendment?
That's the fund code that the money's going into, that it comes back out of?
A budget amendment is an emergency
No,
discretion.
I'm asking about the technology fund. Is it going into a fund code? A certain fund code. It shows up on each one of their documents that they prepare, and all their tickets and all that's going into a fund code over here on the right.
Yes, all the departments that put into this tech fund have a line item,
Right.
a bucket that it goes into, yes.
So basically what we would be doing is taking it back out of that bucket.
It's already been taken out, sir.
Well, I
So the
thought you said there was
13,000,
Fund balance, so
yes, but it's not budgeted
we could do that though.
with a budget amendment.
Yeah.
In an emergency situation, sir.
Well, in a way it is an emergency because they can't do their stuff with DPS.
Yes, but there's budget for it though. So that's why I'm saying that there is available money to buy it.
Bucket of money.
Well, his bucket of money, his department.
I still have 5 months left in this year.
Yes, sir, but you put 5,000 in there last year, you didn't use over $1,000 in your supplies last year, and 2,000 in your travel. That is very good management, but when there's a need in your department, that's what your budget is for.
Yeah, but my train of thought is, there is a bucket for JPs for technology. Why should I go into my office supplies or my travel expenses to get that money out to buy something that legally can come from that fund?
Because it's been used this fiscal year.
And I guess that's the rub, because of the way that everything is set up, or like if Judge Showalter, let's say needed a newer TV, he would, to utilize these funds for that purpose, would be something that he would discuss in budget, and then we'd approve it September 31st, and October 1st he could order. And so that's why you're saying, look, with respect to this budget year, we allocated to the budget out of this fund the $13,000. That's all we allocated. There's nothing left in the budget, although there are general fund, reserve fund, there's funds out there, but they've already been used. Okay, I understand that. I understand.
I think something that's maybe missing also, and I totally understand your budget. It's finite. There's so much there. I think this court, let's say you got in a bind, you bought this TV out of your budget, and then you run short. I don't think there's a member of the court or the auditor who would say, well, Mr. Justice Peace, we will do a budget amendment, or whatever we have to put money in to help you get through the rest of the year. I don't think there's a problem with that.
Well, let me give you an example. I asked for a laptop because of the way I have to operate at my office. I went to the auditor. I didn't have enough money for a laptop. We took money out of this fund, out of my annual budget, I think it was a month before the budget hearing. I had to borrow $50 out of the county judge's account so I could buy a laptop, so I didn't have to wait until the next budget cycle. And I know there's this bucket that we talk about is for the technology fund. And here I'm borrowing for me, or for this fund, and the county judge's fund to buy a laptop. I remember I talked to Craig, I said, I can go down to Walmart, pay $350 for a laptop. Well, no, it's gotta meet certain standards, so I think it costs $1,700, somewhere in that neighborhood, for a laptop. Okay? I didn't have that kind of money with my place. So, and Tara's here, she's former clerk, we try and manage our budget. We don't spend what we don't need to spend. And what I don't spend, you get back at the end of the year, right? I mean, it comes back to the county, it doesn't disappear. So that's my deal. We're taught in our training that you have a justice fund. I come here and I don't have a justice fund. There is one, but I can't use it. My understanding is there's other agencies, other than the JPs, that use that data. So is our fund paying for that?
Or no,
Money
sir,
comes
the net data expense is much more than $13,000, much more.
There's and I think in our line item, there's a line item in our tickets. Some of that money goes towards net data and what they did for us, or they take it. So anyway, I appreciate your time. I'm sorry if I get a little agitated, but, you know, I just think it ought to work a little smoother than what it does.
Hey, Judge, I'm glad you brought it up, and I guess the question is, should the account be set up so that the JPs can utilize it when they desire, or does it have to follow budgetary season and be budgeted a year in advance based on what they have? So, but I, you know, we definitely want to make it as convenient as we can for our JPs to be able to utilize those funds. So I really appreciate you bringing this to our attention, Judge Showalter. Thank you.
Judge, if I could, let me give a little more background on the local government code on how this works. And on section 134.103, it talks about local consolidated fee on conviction on non-jailable misdemeanor. A person convicted, I'm just going to paraphrase it, shall pay $14 as part of their ticket. Now, the law changed a little bit in 2020, but it's a total of $14, and it's allocated per statute. 35% goes to the courthouse security fund, 35% local truancy prevention and diversion fund, 28.57% to the justice court technology fund. That's the $4 that Judge Showalter is talking about. And then there's a county or municipal county jury fund, which is 0.7143%. And basically, what we said here is absolutely correct. It comes in, they collect it, it comes in, it's distributed on the document that they prepare for us monthly. And then it's up to the commissioner's court and the auditor's office to decide how it goes back out. Totally in our hands, so.
Yes.
It's not in my sandbox. Didn't we talk about, or didn't you talk about getting him a separate portable building out there outside of the fire department so he could have his own office and have room?
And what we're saying up here, we talked about getting a separate building or have an office. We also talked about, we're trying to put $20,000 or more to renovate what he has. There's several things in the works. None of them have come to fruition as of today. But they are still on the plate.
My only concern, if I may add, sure, the portable building is gonna really cause a problem with the fire department, because where that portable building would go is their parking lot when they have their annual barbecue. So portable building is not gonna work. You know, we've talked about renovating the kitchen, making that kitchen area into an office space. But then you have to move the kitchen to the other end of the building. You know, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars to get that done. You know, the best thing to do is there's a nice little house down the street, 2-bedroom houses for sale, $70,000, $80,000. You could buy that, give the fire department that building, you don't have to worry about it.
Thank you, Judge. Anything further on this agenda item? Hearing none, we'll go ahead and move on. Agenda item number 12, review House Bill 3693, report for B County's annual 2021 electrical consumption and expenditures. I believe this is item 2.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Judge. As y'all are aware, I'm your representative on the P3, the electrical company that, we're contracted with for lower electrical rates. Yearly, they're required by law to give us a House Bill 3693 report on the annual kilowatt hour consumption and total expenditures. It's on a monthly basis, and the bottom line is, because of the contract we have and the way it's worded, last year, 2021, it saved the county $68,092.68. And I just want to put this in the record that it's been very good for the county to have this contract. I don't know how well it's going to work in the future because natural gas prices have gone up tremendously, and our contract is all based on natural gas prices. I know they're in the process of getting a new contract, but they're higher. So these savings may be less in the future, but that's what it is for 2021, Judge. That's a little over $68,000, so that's a good thing.
Wonderful. This isn't anything we need to take action
No,
on, is it?
So here's a copy.
Thank you.
It's just information.
Moving on, agenda item number 13, approve request to renew lease agreement between Upbring Head Start and B County for the property located at 300 South 6th Street, Skidmore, Texas, for the continuance of Head Start services that is provided to families in the Skidmore area. Commissioner Haggard, this is your agenda item.
Yes, I would like to, I'd like to say something. Be great. I'm gonna make a motion that we approve the lease agreement for future.
I've got a motion and a second. Further discussion. We have some representatives from
Yes, good
Upstart.
morning, I'm Patricia Alejandro, regional director for the Beeville area, and this is Andrea Alvarez, our administrative assistant. And we're just curious, if y'all have any questions or anything y'all like to ask, and we're here to represent.
I've heard nothing but good things, so.
Yeah, I think, and honestly, I think they're running out of room. You guys are adding more and more, yeah.
We're growing.
Yeah, there's not much property to mow anymore. No, they're doing excellent. The buildings look great, the new buildings they put in and everything else. I think it's great for Skidmore.
Wonderful. Thank you for being here this morning. Thank you, and your entity for all that you do for the children and youth of B County. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies, for being here as well. Moving on, agenda item number 14, approve hosting service agreement and service and support level specification agreement between B County and Appraisal and Collection Technologies, ACT LLC, for the tax office system software conversion approved during the May 9, 2022 regular term meeting. We don't have anybody from, I know y'all are not, I'm looking at IT, but we just made eye contact. I'm not asking you to sit down, Mr. Oliver. Move to approve. We've got a motion to approve and a second. Any further discussion? I will say, I believe this contract, hopefully will resolve some of the persistent issues, that our tax office has faced over the course of the last 12 to 18 months, with respect to, certain accounts and, computer, systems, and so hopefully it will help to resolve that, as well as a little bit more, hands-on support for our tax office when they need it, which only goes to benefit our taxing entities and our taxpayers. What was the other thing I wanted to say about this? Oh, and we're approving this for October, next fiscal year. Is that correct?
That's what I've been told.
Okay,
Yeah.
is that your understanding, Sarah?
I believe we're supposed to be implementing before. I'm not
Well,
sure.
yeah, it's implementing before, but the
We're gonna-
money's,
But the money
don't.
comes out of the next one.
Yeah.
It shows a one-time conversion fee of $16,600, and there's an hourly rate.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 15, approve Apple Towing Company agreement between RBEX Inc., DBA, Apple Towing Company, and B County to administer and conduct the Sheriff's Office public auctions.
Move to approve with a correction.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Commissioner Witt, what's the,
We need to add the county judge's signature to the document, sir.
Okay. Okay, Judge Jones is signing?
No.
Sorry, that was inappropriate. Lack of decorum, my apologies.
We can add the judge at the bottom.
Inside joke. No problem. There's no further discussion. All those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 16, approve the use of discretionary exemptions pursuant to Texas Local Government Code, section 262.024, open parens 4, close parens, by John D. Mercer and Associates for professional services to assist B County in the designation of the IT build-out at the tax office.
Judge, since we've already approved Mr. Mercer, he's been vetted, it's a different bucket or a different area that he's gonna use over there. So we're asking the court to, if we've already approved Mr. Mercer, to approve him to do.
Kind of like an add-on.
To declare this,
Yeah,
to declare
to
this
do
exemption.
the prints or whatever.
Make a motion to that effect.
I move that we add Mr. Mercer to, to do the build out for the tax
That you
office.
declare the exemption.
Oh, declare the exemption, so he can pursue the build out on the IT addition aspect.
We got a motion and a second. You got that all? Susan?
Yes,
There's a
ma'am.
amount.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
yes,
did
sir.
well. Oh, you worked right through it. I like that.
Discretion for professional service. It's in the
I was
agenda.
hoping it was gonna do something with the generator at the Coliseum, but I didn't see that on there.
Well, that's part of his job that he's already been approved for at the expo.
Okay,
That's part of the expo, so he's free to go
Okay.
for the expo. IT, he was not free, because that's gonna be general fund money, not art money. So I wanted to have this discretionary exemption, declared by the court so that he can seamlessly move into Elvis Design, that portion.
Thank you, Mrs. Cantu. We have a motion and a second to declare this exemption, in agenda item number 16. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, gentlemen. Agenda item number 17, approve Texas Association of Counties Risk Management Pool, TAC RMP, 2023 property coverage renewal effective July 1, 2022 through July 1, 2023. Mrs. Cantu, do these, insurance coverages appear, adequate?
Yes, and have increased, 31,000, from last year. Deductible went from 1,000 to 5,000.
Move to approve some comments.
Got a motion.
The fires are,
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Further discussion?
Several things, Judge. Looking through this list, we're paying a little over $18,000 to insure our former county jail and sheriff's office. Site number 13, the pavilion with freezer, I think that's been moved. Something that concerns me when I look at this, it's not us, but if the X means we are, they've got a lot of things listed in the flood zone.
They do.
And I don't think they're in flood zones. And I don't know whether that affects the premium or not.
can you get with me after? We
Yes,
can
ma'am.
go with
We'll
Veronica,
get
yes.
together, because
Uh-huh.
it just, there's several things that I'm wondering, do they still exist? Because we're looking at a press box in 1980, ticket booth in 1980. I realize it's just a few dollars, but a little dollar here, little dollar there starts to add up. I don't think that press box is usable. I know, and then we have an Arena One, they're showing built in 83, I think they're talking about the new one that was built in 99. Because it's the only one listed. We'll get together.
Could it be the bleachers that are over there, the rotten
It
bleachers?
doesn't say bleachers, it says,
Well, yeah, but it
Arena
would be
One.
part of that arena.
Huh?
It would be attached to that arena. You're probably right, it is the bleachers, but it's attached to that
I
arena.
know that little press box up there,
Yeah.
it's dangerous. Somebody-
We'll see there's
Catwalk to go over there and come down.
See, they're showing press box 2, ticket booth 2, storage building 5. We need somebody to go out there and put their hand on this stuff.
The bleachers are still there.
Right, what exactly?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some old bleachers still there, and I think the press box is still there.
See, but what I'm
Standing
wondering,
up there like a deer blind.
whoever our property person is, get with John and go put their hand on each one and say, okay, this is no longer here.
Yes, no, and we'll highlight through there and I'll give it.
Okay,
to
we'll
Veronica.
get together.
Yes.
Thank you.
Very interesting.
It's easy when a government entity, you've got this whole list of property. It used to happen to us with the state. About every 5 years, somebody would come down and physically put their hand and say, okay, this is still here. Oh, where's this? It's gone. Let's mark it off the list. It needs to be done.
But if we pay for it now, it's gonna be covered for the year, right?
Right.
So there's no,
No, if we remove a building, we get a credit. If we add a building.
Yes, we do.
Okay, yeah,
Okay.
so we can cure it.
If we had a building, we ran a bigger check.
And I want to tell you, this is excellent insurance we have. I've never seen an insurance company in a Spec Association of Counties that is so pro the entity. They work with us every chance, so, but I'll get with you after a while, Madam Auditor. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner DeWitt. We do have a motion and a second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. Agenda item number 18, approved carrier access agreement between Valero Marketing and Supply Company and its affiliates, collectively Valero, and B County for the Road and Bridge Department.
Yes,
Hey,
good morning.
Mr. Gonzalez.
Ray Gonzalez, the County Road Administrator. Have a few words that I'd like to, talk to the court about, a few things I'd like to talk to the court about. And, this line item, this agenda item, what it is when we, get ready to seal coat our roads, we usually, bring in a tanker, which holds about 6,000 gallons. And in the past, we've, sometimes we have scheduled to seal coat a road, and there's no tanker. We can probably get it the next day or the day after that. So what I'm trying to do here is trying to get our distributor, which holds 2,000 gallons, to go to the loading dock in Valero. And that way we can do stuff on our schedule, not their schedule. So of course, it's a little less oil that we'll be getting, but that's only when we can't, when they can't deliver. So they can't, you know.
it
bring
doesn't
it
never
back.
hit right, the schedule doesn't
We
hit
we
right.
can still go with it. That's what this agenda item is. And of course, the other, if you guys would approve this, it'd be great.
Move to
The
approve.
court would approve it, it'd be great.
Got a motion and every other commissioner seconded. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, motion passes without exception. Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. Don't go anywhere. Agenda item number 19, approved credit application with Martin Marietta to purchase road material for the Road and Bridge Department. Before anybody makes a motion to approve this, and Mr. Gonzalez, I'm going to give you the opportunity to make the presentation. But this contract includes a personal guarantee. I've made it clear before, I'm not in the business of personally guaranteeing a governmental entity, as I don't think anybody else sitting up here would be interested in doing so. Subject to that, I have no other objections to this contract presentation. Mr. Gonzalez, you have the floor.
Okay, well, what this is, Court, is the credit application for Martin Marietta. For the past 38 plus years, we've been under contract with Vulcan. And of course, they're just not delivering. We've been without for the past 2.5 months, if not more. I've tried different areas. I've tried Haas Anderson. They told me they had some there, so I did send a truck down there to get a load. And when we got the load, it's not what we needed. It's the material I'm looking for, but it's just old material. So that didn't work. So then we tried to get a Martin Marietta out of Robstown. They no longer make home mix neither. So I reached out to Collins County to see where they were getting theirs, and they were getting theirs out of New Brownsville. Of course, you would have to go get it yourself, so that you can't really justify doing that. And contacted Hunter in San Marcos. They have their own little plant there, and of course, again, that you can't justify going all the way down there to get material. So the only place that I did find this through a good friend of mine, Sammy Mormon, was in San Antonio with Martin Marietta, and they said they would deliver it. Will be a little bit higher than what we normally get it for, but that's the only place we can get it. And I'd like the court to approve that. That way we can keep on patching our county roads. We've been without, the coal mix is for our county roads, for our potholes. And, we've gotten a lot of calls, I'm sure commissioners, especially the north end, have gotten a lot of calls on that. We just don't have the material. And with this, as soon as we get this signed today, if we get this signed today, we would be able to, get with Martin Marietta to deliver some.
You couldn't get them to amend the contract to remove that personal guarantee from there? I mean, they're dealing with the county entity. I mean, it's not like we're not gonna pay them.
I think that is a provision we may be able to overlook, because it is a county entity.
Yeah.
I make a motion, we accept this,
Okay.
if we can, or if we can't, doesn't matter.
I thought it was.
I agree, none of us need to sign it first.
I just want y'all to approve it, subject to, I'm not personally guaranteed.
I second the motion.
That's all.
Okay.
Otherwise,
I'm good.
Yeah, and if you notice, there's a lot of blank lines, because it wasn't able to fill it in, and that'd all be subject to the county judge's approval, and, yeah, I'm not in the motion or second, but that's, yes, there should be no personal guarantees, period.
Do you have to amend the motion then?
No, well,
No.
I've already placed it that I wanted to
They're good.
remove the personal.
They're good.
Yeah, I think it'll be okay. I think it'll be okay.
And
Right, is this gonna be used instead of Vulcan? I mean, this.
In addition to,
Yes, till Vulcan can start delivering.
Okay, because Vulcan it has been secured, by the court.
Yes, but
And-
they told me they wouldn't get any material to me till maybe September. And
Okay,
we
so-
have to do something.
We just don't want to go over 50,000 in product, because we can't, if they're not.
Well, as long as the court knows that.
Yeah, we
As long
can't
as the
go
court
over,
knows that, I
because
mean-
we procured Vulcan as our vendor, because we spend
We
almost
have to go out for
200,000.
public bid.
Right.
if we go over 50, we'll keep it under 50,000.
So, to use it intermittently, that's fine, but
Yeah.
to keep it, for sure, keep it under.
Yeah, if I may add, this was the comment I made several meetings ago. You got Vulcan, you got Haas Anderson, you got, Bay, you've got all of these companies, Hunter, they have their own plants, and they're their own construction company. They do the road work. So naturally, they're gonna feed themselves before they feed us. And I think that's where the problem lies with Mr. Gonzalez, is getting coal. Yeah, you're gonna have to go further out, and so we may be looking at that in the next budget. Because, again, you and I don't want our phones, they got you on speed dial, they got me on speed, they got all of us on speed dial.
Well,
And
they
if
take
pothole
pictures
shows
too.
up, the phone starts ringing,
They
so,
got signs.
yeah.
It's
But-
a little bit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's a great point, what you're saying is great, I don't know if what I'm saying is a good point, but, should we go ahead and get started on that process for bidding out this with Martin Marietta, hopefully wanting to?
We can.
So, for next budget year, you may have more than one option?
Well, they have bid on it, but they've always, they're
Been a little
always
bit
higher.
higher.
So that's why we kept Vulcan.
How do we go about that if we wanted to have two entities that we've authorized to buy material from periodically?
Can it be worded that the second is a backup in case it's not available in the first?
That's
I think that's
It
doable.
would be due to availability.
Exactly.
Yeah, it would basically, and I think that's what we're looking at. If you look at, okay, we can get Vulcan, it's cheaper, but the availability comes from Martin Marietta. So we may wanna lean towards them more, which may force Vulcan to up their ante a little bit, so. But I think just putting it as an availability.
And that would go through when, when Vulcan would have come through with the second, with Marietta being second, that could have been worked in so that we could have gotten an agreement with
Sure.
Marietta at that time to have been like a second choice, and it would have already been in that procurement.
Should we do that for next year?
We can.
Go ahead and plan to, Mr.
Sure,
Gonzalez?
yes.
I think that would be.
Better
That'd be great.
Be ready.
Definitely, because it's not gonna get better again.
Right.
And we already have the language for that, the spec
Yes.
and everything, so
And the agreement.
put it back out.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Also, it's past, we've never experienced something like this with our material. The past 38 plus years, this has never occurred, or, so that's why we're kind of looking around and seeing where we can go. but, it's the first time this has ever happened that I'm aware of. And of course, it'll be September or November, we'll get all the comics we can get from all. It's just good they finish their contracts.
Thank you for bringing this to our attention.
Yes, sir.
Gonzalez. I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, please indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion passes without exception. I apologize today, I was speaking low. I just realized that. I was sitting back in my chair. If you're not at this table, you probably couldn't hear me. I do apologize. We'll work on that in the next budget year. Moving on, we have no executive session. Agenda item number 20, adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
I've got a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I don't think we want to go. All opposed? Motion passes without exception. We are adjourned. Thank you, gentlemen. Thank you, ladies.